Hey guys, it's Monday night. We are back. I had got a little bit off routine this weekend um, with diet and just gym schedule. I went snowboarding Saturday at Whiteface. Got to see some friends, hung out in Lake Placid. Overall, good time. Um, but got a little sloppy on my diet, so I'm happy to be home. Happy to get back on track and continue with these videos. I was still able to post and hit my goals that I needed to because that's a must. I've got expectations I set for myself, and we've got to hit those regardless of what I do. But today, I'm thinking all the time. So I usually talk about something I'm thinking about or something I've thought about the last couple of days, because more often than not, someone else is going through that or thinking similar things. So today, I want to talk about communication and why communication is so important in building relationships and having a healthy life and having a quality life. And I guess I'll start it off by like, what is communication for me, or how did communication affect me? Because for a large part of my life, I was surrounded um, with negative communication, yelling, disagreements, not seeing people properly communicate with each other. And it's allowed me to really delve deep into it. And I've read books about communication, and I've read psychology books on how people think, and I've tried to understand how you're supposed to properly communicate with people, because I hadn't seen proper communication for a large part of my life. um, you know Being able to talk with somebody, hey, I didn't like what you did there, them saying, acknowledging it, being okay with it, and talking through rather than just scream at each other. Because I played a lot of sports throughout my life, and I'm the type of person, if someone gives me respect, I give them respect back. So if a coach were to just scream at me without giving me reinforcement, or rather than giving me a solution on how to get better, they just screamed at me, I instantly didn't like that communication. There was no respect. Rather than say, hey, this is what you could do, you could improve on this, man, like you fucked up there, but you can do this to get better. And maybe that was me being soft, because I do know that I was soft a little bit with that. But um I've always found that positive critiquing was something that I thrived with. So, and going back to seeing a lot of arguments when I was younger, not proper communication, I'm well aware I am a passive aggressive person, and it's toxic. It's not a great thing. You can ask my roommates, you can ask my former roommates, you can ask my family. I'm a passive aggressive person, and I'm working on it because I don't want to be that. And I think a lot of it is because I've seen so many arguments and so much poor communication that I don't want to argue. I want to avoid conflict at all costs. And it comes out in a very passive aggressive way, which is toxic. It's a horrible thing. And that I'm trying to work on that. Um, but communication, me with sports, I've never respected getting yelled at. I'm sure a lot of people don't like that. Sometimes they can thrive off it though, like, oh, I'm pissed off now, I'm gonna do better. But with me and my training program, also shout out Mike. He's down 10 pounds. And then the first 3 weeks, he's been working his ass off. We've got a couple other guys killing it. My boy Chewy doing 75 hard. He is dialed, hitting it every day. Got a couple other guys just starting up, doing great. But how I see communication, how I've always thrived with communication, is working hard and seeing a reward. So, you know, say someone hits a great goal, or say someone killed it on a day of eating, or, someone did an extra 15 minutes of cardio. I'm going to call it out, and I'm going to be like, I'm super fucking proud. Like, you killed it. You're a beast. Hype them up, because when you are proud of somebody, and I'm genuinely proud when someone does that. Like, I'm not just making it up. Like, that does make me happy. But when you tell someone you're proud of them after they did something hard, after they did a hard task, they're probably going to be a lot more likely to do it again, you know, rather than, I'm also going to be disappointed if you cheat on your meal. But I'm not going to be cuss somebody out and say, you know what, you're over with. It's communication. I'm going to say, hey, man, like, that's not what we planned on. That's not what we intended on. How are we going to fix it? And, we've ran into that situation. He had a cheat meal, talked about how are we going to fix it. He fixed it within a day or two. And it's okay to cheat if you make up for it. Like, it doesn't need to be, you will rue this day or whatever it is. It's the way of having positive communication. And I've always loved the positive communication of someone doing something great, and you know having your buddies boost you up. You know what, fuck yeah, you just killed that workout, you just killed that meal plan. And I read that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And you know if they had one example of a construction worker, one worker wasn't wearing his helmet, and the boss came up and ripped him apart in front of everybody. You're not going to wear your helmet, like, screw you, screw you, screw you. And that causes resentment. That person wearing their helmet, you know what? The next week they weren't wearing their helmet. The whole week. It caused resentment. It didn't fix the solution. But they also did the same example. The boss came up and saw someone wearing their helmet. They were like, "Thank you, man. You're looking awesome. Like, I'm glad you're wearing your helmet." And it was a positive communication, and that person wore their helmet the rest of the week, or whatever it was. And that was a great book. If you guys haven't read that, How to Win Friends and Influence People, I think it's by Dale Carnegie. Um, but that example is kind of something that I carried with me, because for me, if you disrespect me, I'm probably not going to give you respect back. And it's going to cause a toxic environment. But if someone comes up to me and says, "Hey, man, you're looking swole, like, you've been working out," and I'm going to be like, "Yeah, hell yeah." And I'm going to be more bound to work out. Just things like that. It's a positive communication style, um, positive way to talk about things. And even when it comes to, like, relationships or whatever it may be, is being able to call things out. And I know everyone's different, and I'm not perfect by any means. I'm kind of just talking about this stuff as in a way of, like, I'm constantly working on these things too. Um, but I think people just need to be more okay with not being perfect and accepting their faults, because oftentimes, I can be an asshole sometimes. And if someone comes up and says, "Dude, you're being a real damn asshole right now," and I'll check myself, I'll be like, "You know what? I'm sorry. That's my bad." And I think that kind of interaction needs to be normalized. And I know it's harder. Some people are harder to work with, um, especially when it comes to politics. Like, you can't agree with anybody on anything. Um, But how it should be is people be able to see both points of view, have a conversation, and agree to disagree. But it's almost nearly impossible today. But from an online coaching standpoint, I like the reward based communication. If someone does something good, you let them know, you celebrate them in a way. If they're falling off track, if they're not doing the things they need to do, you don't yell at them. They're here for help. They're not here to get yelled at. They want to better themselves. They know they did something wrong. You don't need to keep putting them down in the dirt. It's, hey, what are we going to do about it? You fucked up. You're going to hit an extra 15 minutes of cardio today. You're going to work through it. Don't put someone down who's already down, because it will cause resentment. It will cause them to go against you. And if you can properly communicate with people, your life will improve by so much. And this is something I'm constantly working on, whether it may be with family, with coworkers, let them know how you feel rather than hold it in. Because I'm someone who's held it in, hold my feelings in, and then I blow up. And then I blow up on somebody and maybe say something that's out of my character or I don't necessarily mean, or maybe I did, but it was fucked up of me to say, and then I feel bad about it for a day, for a week, or whatever it was, because you don't want to pop off and make someone feel horrible. Like that fucks up your day, fucks up your week. You need to learn how to properly communicate, and it's something that you can fix daily, work on daily. Um, if you're getting angry and you're building it up, maybe go write it down, or maybe get it out, or let that person know, hey, just so you know, I'm really pissed. Like, I don't want to talk to you for 24 hours. I don't want to say anything I don't mean. Like, little ways to check yourself, because um, it could be gnarly if you hold something in for a week and then pop off on somebody, almost kill them or something. But try and understand how you communicate, why you communicate the way you do, and how you can improve it. Because most people are affected by how they grew up on how they communicate. you know some people might have a very well communication family where where they're very open about talking about things, where it's okay to not be okay, it's okay to talk about certain things, while other families, there's a lot of arguing, there's a lot of disagreements, there's a lot of hateful things going around, and that really can mold and affect how you communicate with people throughout your life. That's why I um, support people who move away and get away from um, the norms, the people they always grew up with, the people their family. It's important for you to take time to isolate and reflect on your life and get away and interpret what all these things truly mean. Because when you're growing up, you are molded into so many different things, some good, some bad, by who you surround yourself with, by how you were raised, by all these different things. Maybe you were raised in a stressful environment, a bad communication environment, a drug environment, whatever it may be. You're unconsciously molded into the person you are by what you surrounded yourself with. And I know some people who have been through way, way worse things, like horrible environments. But I want people to know that no matter what environment you come from, like major abusive family, major alcoholic family, maybe you were separated from your parents from because they couldn't take care of you. All these horrible, sad things that I feel for you guys. I'm sorry. But I'm telling you that you can be who you want to be. Don't limit yourself because you've had all these negative things happen in your life. You know, I know some people who it's hard for them to love and give love because they never received that when they were younger, you know, and their communication was fucked up. They've always loved somebody, but when, they were taken away from their parents, that fucks with your head. That fucks with how you interact with people. That fucks with how you communicate with people. And acknowledging that, that may have affected you, your childhood may have affected you, who you hung out with may have affected you, is crucial in figuring out how you want to communicate, who you want to become. And it's hard for a lot of people because they don't want to admit that they have things to fix, that they have problems to fix, because that means that they're not perfect. And I'm telling you, no one's perfect. And you've always got things to work on. I'm constantly learning. I know I'm passive aggressive. I'm trying to fix it because that's a toxic ass thing. I know my communication can be better. Sometimes I hold things in and pop off, and it's not good. But acknowledging your wrongs, understanding your wrongs. You don't have to tell anybody. It helps if you tell somebody and get it out. You can write it down. You can maybe you have a really good friend you can go talk to. I don't go to a counselor, but maybe that will work for you. Um, you have to address why you do the things you do, why you act the way you act. because it makes it easier to address the problem. Once you find the root cause of the problem, then you can go, all right, how am I going to fix it? I communicate the way I do because I always saw that when I was growing up. But now I don't have to define myself with that. I can fix it. And if you can figure out all these things, you're going to live a way greater life. You know, if people have different attachment styles in relationships, people have different ways of going about things. And in this world, we're all intertwined in some way. You know, you're all talking, you understanding people's communication, understanding people's attachment styles, understanding all of this is important. And it's a complicated thing, but if you yourself can understand that and try and learn, it will help you. And that's probably my biggest thing is that I think is important is communication, because you want to communicate in a way that doesn't cause resentment. You want to communicate in a way that is a positive reinforcement. Like I talked about earlier with my online coaching. I'm never just going to yell at you. I'm going to address the issue, talk about it, and figure out how we can figure a solution. And when you do something good, I'm going to make it known how proud I am. I'm going to make it known that you did a good thing, because you need to feel proud of yourself, whether it be the smallest thing. If I'm helping you and you're doing the things you need to do, I am so fucking proud. And I'm not just doing it out of fakeness. I actually am. I hope you guys can feel how authentic I am with this. I do care. And, you know, message me if you're wondering on what my course is about, how I can help you. Maybe I can't help you. Maybe I can. Um, I will give you the full rundown of what we have. And if you're someone who's really trying to get clean and doesn't have the money, reach out, because I'm not going to have someone struggling and failing because they can't meet a financial requirement. Um, you know, if you sign up, I'll give you my personal number. I will help you and we're going to get through it. And don't feel like if you want to keep drinking and you know you do what you do, that's okay. Like this, you don't have to be sober to join my program. You just have to want to get better. Um, it'll help a lot if you don't drink because those are wasted calories, but we can fit it into your schedule. We can make it work. Um, but thank you guys for tuning in. I love all the support. If you disagree, I know there's some people disagreeing with some of my antidepressant talks, um, because sometimes the truth hurts. But you know, have a conversation with me about it. Don't. I know some people are just going to block me, and that's okay if they want. But I'm not trying to make anybody mad or anything like that. I'm just expressing how I feel through experiences I had. I'm not just pulling this out of my butt. But thank you guys for all the support. Thanks for the love. Thank you guys for encouraging me. I'm going to post regardless, so the love is definitely a bonus. But take care, guys. Peace out, motherfuckers.